Well, a North Carolina homeowner is facing felony charges after allegedly opening fire on an Amazon delivery driver and her teenage son, all because they accidentally pulled into the wrong driveway on the night of December 14th. Thankfully, no one was physically hurt. 23-year-old Sidney Pittman is charged with firing into an occupied vehicle. He's currently out on a $200,000 bond and is due back in court on January 8th. The sheriff's office is also reviewing possible racist social media posts, which could lead to additional charges. That delivery driver, Tashika Trimble, and civil rights activist John Barnett, they join us now. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Tramika, we'll start with you. Can you walk us through what happened?
I can't hear.
Okay.
Uh, can you maybe?
I can't hear.
Okay, John, can you hear John? John,
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
you can. Okay. Could you walk us through what's happened?
Yes, I sure will. And we want to thank you for being on your show. And we appreciate all that Roland Martin is doing for our community. It appears that on last Sunday,
Please tell me.
Miss Tashika, who's on with us now, I think she's with her family in the background. Her and her son was delivering a package, an Amazon package. They pulled into the driveway of what they thought was the home of the individual that they were delivering the package for. And in the process of doing that, they didn't get out the car. They just kind of seen this white male figure with a ponytail just staring at them. So her son, of course, said, "Mom, I don't think this is the right place." So they back up. They go to the house next door, and that was the actual address. They were on a very dark street in the city called Ellaby, North Carolina, not far from Rockingham, North Carolina, which is probably the most popular city around there. And as they were driving back out, no, they were driving out of the driveway, backing out of the driveway rather, they were just driving down the road, and they didn't get far until they heard a big loud noise. And apparently, this individual had shot a shotgun in the back of the car. They heard a big boom and a bunch of sprinkles. I think that was the bullet shells that was hitting the car. Miss Tashika is she is licensed to carry, so she was able to, she's getting ready to get a weapon, and her son said, "Mom, just pull off." So as she's pulling off, they go, of course, call the police. Police come back. Long story short, and they asked the young man, "Did he do it?" He said, "Yes." They asked him why, ma'am, and he literally said, "I don't know." So I don't know if it's the Trump cloud that's sprinkling hate around this country, but they did lock him up with a $200,000 bond. Unfortunately, almost within a day or so, he was released out on bond. And so our civil rights organization, True Healing Under God, we're actually went down, we staged a press conference, speaking out about our concerns. We talked to a detective, and we're trying to upgrade it to ethnic intimidation. That's a charge that a lot of people of color may not know. I've gotten 2 people last year charged with that, a white male and a white female. And the second charge we're pushing for is, of course, the hate crime. Why? Because he was in the road, and that's state governed, which is also, federally supported. And just the mere fact that when he got out of jail, I want to give you this real quick. When he got out of jail, he posted something online that said that he shot a cold colored, is what he used, the words that he used, COAL. He was having a conversation with someone via text. The individual saying, "Man, why did they spend all this money on you to get out?" He starts laughing, and he told him, "You're going to have a cold Christmas." And he said, "I shot a cold colored," is his words. So we're using this screenshot that we have. We're going to share it with you all if you'd like to share it, and let the community know that we're going to tolerate, this individual, 23 years old. I think he has some prior charges, just shooting in a random car. Her son or her could have been killed. And so we addressed it immediately, and we're pushing. We met with the DA, talked to her. She's been very supportive, and we've talked to a local detective. So we're definitely trying to get this charge upgraded, only to send a message that you just can't shoot into an Amazon driver's car for no reason at all.
Were you able to find any other social media posts?
No, but I'm going to be asking my attorney to do what we call a computer forensic, which is looking at past history. I would love to have his cell phone right now, 'cause I'm sure there'll be a lot of, racially charged comments inside of his phone. He's now since getting a little quiet. We had about 60 people at our press conference. Ms. Tashika has a large family, and we're looking forward to definitely getting justice for her.
I know Tashika is standing by with all of of her sisters tonight, and I know that she really wants to tell her
Mhm.
story. And we would certainly like for her to tell her story. Tell us how you guys got connected. Tell us the
Well,
transition.
we're probably the only full-time civil rights organization in the Carolinas. So we get about 40 to 50 calls a week, literally. So a lot of people begin to tag her with my name on social media. That is John C. Barnett, Roman numeral 3. And she just called me. I met with her the same day. And I'm not a stranger to this type of situation. My attorney, Malik Zulu Shabazz, and myself went to Mississippi last year to fight for Michael Jenkins, who was shot in the mouth by a deputy. He actually lived. The bullet came out of his neck. We sent these 6 officers to prison for 135 years, made history in Mississippi. And Mr. Jenkins just received a settlement of $2.5 million. But that is probably the most, at the top of my list, most hate-filled case that me and my attorney Malik Shabazz has ever had. So I just put in the blueprint. 1961 Malcolm X had stated that the black woman is the most unprotected and most disrespected human on earth. And I think it's now time in our community that black men begin to stand up and take up for our black women and our black babies as well.
Tell us what happens next in this case in North Carolina.
We met with the detective, and he's considering more charges, but I'm kind of hesitant whether or not he's going to do that. So we're just waiting for that paperwork to be transferred over to the DA's office, and we have court in Richmond County on January 7th, I believe, the 7th or 8th. Don't quote me on that. We then are going to initiate more civil rights assistance by encouraging a lot of people to come to court, both black and white, is supporting our efforts to come to court dressed in black on that particular court date. I think it's the 8th, actually. And we're going to be back in Richmond County again to,
Tell us,
to let the judge know that we're supporting her efforts.
yeah, tell us about the support. Tell us about what kind of impact you think that will have for everybody to show up and all be wearing black.
Well, she's very excited that Roland Martin's show called. um, but it's been a lot of feedback. My attorney reached out to us. Our Facebook page press conference is close to almost 25,000 views. So social media has really helped us a lot. And it's one of those small little cities that don't get a lot of coverage. So it's really right now the talk of the town. But Facebook is good to use. But I tell people all the time, I work with about 30 lawyers across the country in collaboration with them. Even my big brother, Attorney Ben Crump. But I tell people all the time, Facebook has never given me a lawyer. They've never assisted in getting Miss Tashika and her son counseling, which they have now. She told me she was nervous because, and I got to tell you this, he lives about 6 minutes from her house, and yet he's out on bond. And I was telling the detective, I hope he's got an ankle monitor on, and he was supposed to get back with us and let us know. But that's the most disturbing thing about this, is that he had a $200,000 bond. The family probably paid $10,000 or $20,000 to get him out for Christmas. But to know that he lives about 6 minutes from her house is very disturbing. And so she's had some trouble nights not sleeping, not knowing, what he's going to do next. So hopefully we'll get him on an ankle monitor soon or back in jail. But I'm really pushing for the hate crime charges.
And do you think that you will actually get these hate crime charges?
I think so. I worked in collaboration with the Ahmaud Arbery case. And I realized in that case, when Ahmaud Arbery was shot by 2 white males down in Brunswick, Georgia, I went down there for the protest. Actually, the night that I got down there, the father and the son got locked up. I realized that if he had gotten shot in the yard, it would have been probably a state-oriented charge. Ahmaud Arbery was shot in the road, which made it a federal charge, which gave them federal charges, rather. And so this guy came out of his house, out of his yard, and in the road. And now when we look at this racist post that he's made, I'm just encouraging the SBI to intertwine the two and go forth with a hate charge. And not only that, to send a message. I mean, at best, he didn't even get attempted murder. He got shooting in a vehicle. And there's another black male in Richmond County that, shot in somebody's house, and he's got attempted murder charges. So when you shoot somebody in a car, in particular a moving car, That's Class D. That's Class D felon, which means he should have right now, let alone the hate crime, he should have 2 attempted murder charges for shooting in a vehicle. Very, very disturbing. And they let him slide a little bit. For him to be home for Christmas. My goal is to get him back in jail ASAP.
Mr. Burnett, we understand that Miss Trimble cannot hear me. Are you able to communicate with her? Can she hear you?
Yes, I can. I think she's texted me just now.
Ask her
Yeah,
if
she's
she
texting me.
can hear you.
Okay, there she is. Can you hear us, Mr. Chica? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Yeah,
Ask
thanks.
her to tell us her story. How is she feeling right now?
I'm a little overwhelmed. Really don't want to go anywhere. Uh, I don't know. It's just a lot going on in my head right now.
I know that we tried to walk through your story, but only you can tell your story. So I want you to tell me, what happened that night when your son and you were out delivering the packages.
Okay. Me and my son, we turned on a street. It was dark, and the navigation led us to a house. So when I pulled in, it was the only house on that street that was lit up. So I said, okay, this must be the right house. We didn't see any numbers. So I was finna get out the car, and my son was like, Mama, hold on, wait. Look how they looking at us. Because we can see through their house because their light was on. It was a female and a male at the door at that time. And I was like, let me get out so they'll know that I got a packet for them. And my son was like, no, Mom, look how they look. So I looked. I said, well, tell them I got a package and ask them, is this their address that was on the packet? So my son stuck his head out the window and he waved and he asked them those questions. They didn't reply. They didn't say anything. Only thing they was doing was like talking amongst each other and looking back. So I was like, well, let me get out and show them the packet. And my son was like, no, 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 Mom, get out the people's yard. So I was like, well, okay. So I began to back out and I started the way that the navigation had me going at the beginning. But then it rerouted me to turn around and go back. So I said, well, I ain't going back to that house. If we don't find it, it's all right. So we kept going and my son and I was like, oh, here got a number on this mailbox. So we pulled in. So I was like, dang, that was the wrong house. I wasn't thinking about them or thinking anything was gonna happen. I was just doing my job. So my son was like, Mama, get out. So he got out and he scanned the packet, did the whole process, putting the packet on the porch. We have to take a picture of it. He had a good 3 to 5 minutes, what I'm saying, before he got back in the car. So as I began to back out, I had my lights on and I had my windows down so I can see because of course it was dark. I pull in the road and as soon as I put my car in drive and as soon as I was in the middle of asking my son what address is next, we hear a shot. Then we hear little pricks hitting the car. I duck. I grab my gun and look left and right because, of course, I carry. Because I didn't know which way to look or who was shooting at that time. And my son was like, no, Mama, he's shooting. Go. So I just took off and he called 911 and I told him, let them know I'm not stopping anywhere till I get to somewhere I feel safe. And that was a nearby convenience store.
Why was it important for you to speak out about what happened to you?
Because I feel like it's not fair. 2 lives was in that car, and he only has 2 charges. When I've seen uh, people doing the same thing, or even worse, and they have several charges,
Mhm.
including attempted murder charge. Nobody don't even have to be in the car or home if somebody shot in it, and they would still charge them with those crimes. And I feel like yes, he do have those 2 charges that fit, but he should have a lot more than what he has. Because like I said, me and my son was in that car.
I know your son right now is at work. That's why he's not beside you right now, but how's he doing?
He he's a smart kid, so he's kind of, unless you ask him something, then he'll come out with it. But he kind of keeps stuff bottled up. Yeah, and he's just trying to be strong. Like he trying not to show so much emotion. You know, most men don't like to show emotion in front of people. They kind of hide away and come out like everything's okay. But it's like he just want to keep moving to not think about it.
Yeah. And as you guys began your investigation and started doing some digging, I understand there were some social media posts. How are you feeling about what you saw online in reference to what happened to you?
It's just a lot. I'm just happy me and my son are okay, that we can tell everybody our story. You know, of course we're gonna have good and some negative about it, but we're here to tell it, and nobody can tell my story how I can tell my story because I was there. I'm just happy nobody hurt. Like, I can get a replaceable car, but our lives do matter, and he need to be held accountable for what he done, because he has no reason why he did it. There's no reason why.
And
So,
and keep in mind, you got to realize when he was locked up, you're looking at the fact that within an hour after he got out of jail, that post was sent to Mr. Shiko. That's, she found it an hour later after he was, out of jail, which lets you know there's no remorse in this individual, and that's why we're pushing very heavy for some extreme charges, in particular the 2 attempted murder charges.
As we begin to wrap up, is there anything that you'd like to say? Any last words?
I just thank everybody for their support, their concern. They want to know my story. They help, whether it's a text, I'm sorry it happened to you. Do you need to talk? Anything. I just thank everybody, because this is a hard time right now. I don't get scared easily, but this scared me. And it's like, when stuff like this happen, we need somebody by our side. We need somebody to let us know that it's okay. I'm here. I'm gonna be here with you. I'm gonna be right here by your side, because everybody don't have that support. And I'm just happy for everybody that I know and people I don't know. The text, I'm just grateful.
And as a sign of support for his son on last night, from everything he went through, our organization, True Healing Under God, we actually took them to their very first Charlotte Hornets NBA game last night to kind of calm things down. So his son truly enjoyed it. He's a great money management type guy. He got his little Chick-fil-A sandwich and, also a lot of other things. But we took him out last night to just kind of let them know that we support them, and just to kind of calm, all the stress that they've been dealing with. So I'm thankful that they're feeling a little bit better. They're also, again, as I told you, in counseling, because to know that somebody got shot at. I told Mr. Shika that it takes 9 seconds to remember something good in your life, but it takes 2 to 3 seconds to remember something bad. Probably for the rest of his life, unless he gets Alzheimer's, God forbid, he's gonna remember someone shooting at me at the age of 16. Mr. Shika, give her your court date. We want to encourage people to come out on your court date. You can tell her your court date.
Yes. Why I got this court date is because it was on his papers. No one has given me a court date, but I know he does come to court January the 8th at the Richmond County Courthouse.
And you're asking for people to show up in all black. We want to thank you guys, both of you, and your support team, your sisters behind you. Thank you for coming on here and for sharing your story. We're glad you're safe, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Tell Mr. Morton I said hello.
I will.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.